If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Okay, so T-Pain had some stuff to say about artists getting their money, and this caused some, kind of uproar, kind of people giving their own thoughts on this. And so today I wanted to go over his comments, what he said, and what the information he gave us actually means and what people had to say about this. So let's jump straight into it. So T-Pain took to Twitter, or to social media in general, on December 29th, so 2 days ago, to post this chart showing us how many streams it takes on each streaming platform to make $1. So let's look at this and see what the implications of this actually are. So, T-Pain kind of out here going against the mainstream industry, against streaming music, and wanting to, display the truth, not necessarily going against it, but just, shedding light on maybe some misinterpretations of a lot of stuff, or just some misconceptions of this. So let's actually look at what this chart implies. So we can see that you need to have 249 streams on Amazon Music to make $1. That is quite a lot. $1 is not that much, and you need 249 streams to get that. Apple Music, it only takes about half, 128. Then Tidal, it only takes 78. On Napster, it only takes 53, which to me was very surprising. I didn't know that Napster was paying that well, because 53, you can get to 53 streams easily, and then an artist already made $1. On Deezer, it takes 156. On Pandora, it takes 752, which is really a lot. And then also on YouTube Music, it takes 1,250, but that is, because most of it, I think, is also funded and financed through ads, and they usually don't pay as well. And then on Spotify, which is obviously very interesting because Spotify is one of the biggest streaming services in the game, it takes 315. And you might notice that aside from YouTube Music and Pandora, Spotify is the streaming service paying the least amount of money to artists. And I thought that this was the contrast was just really interesting, because when you look at the numbers from Napster and then compare them to the numbers from Spotify, when you make $1 on Spotify with the same number of streams, you could have made, now let me get my math right, but you could have made 6 times the money on Napster. And in those low dimensions, that's not a lot, $1 or $6. But let's say you make $1,000. You would have made $6,000 on Napster. Say you made $100,000, you would have made $600,000 on Napster. And that is just crazy to me. The difference between these, streaming services paying artists is just a lot. I know there are also, organizations out there that try to raise this price. I know that one, for example, it's like the National Songwriters Association or something, but they're demanding 1 cent per stream. So this is even less than, Napster is paying, but it would definitely combat that really low-paying artist payout from Spotify. Now, a lot of people had some stuff to say about this because, people always give their opinions. One guy, for example, said, so why don't musicians vote with their feet, remove all their music from all streaming platforms apart from Napster? Genuine question here. Why do musicians moan about Spotify yet support them with their music? Just step away. And this may sound very easy, and I think, the reality is a lot more complicated. I think that, of course, not, any artist doesn't have all of their music on one streaming platform. It's a combination of all of them. An artist's music might get streamed on Spotify, but it also might get streamed on Napster, and he just might as well get paid more from Napster than from Spotify. But the reality is that most people are on Spotify, and if, of course, most artists remove their music from Spotify and just went all over to Napster, then that would, also convert a lot of the listeners over to Napster. So obviously that is a way to actually put some pressure on Spotify, for example. But I do think there will be a lot happening in this space in the years to come, because a lot of independent artists are just sick of, just the low amounts that Spotify is paying them. Another guy said, for example, so on Spotify alone, one of Drake's songs, Wants and Needs, has 324 million streams. Divide that number by the 315 streams needed for $1, and you have somewhere just over $1 million for one song on one streaming outlet. So this guy does have a point, but this is also taking a Drake song, for example. A lot of independent artists don't have 300 million streams. And that's really where the problem lies. People like Drake don't have a problem with Spotify. It's really the independent artists that are struggling to pay their bills that are upset about this. Drake got enough money off of a lot more stuff than just streaming. So nobody's actually, looking at examples from Drake's songs or from Drake's discography. But we gotta look at the guy that only does 20,000 streams per song, not the guy who does 300 million or a billion or whatever. This guy went on to say this model is only archaic for artists who suck at making music, not to mention all the money from endorsements, brand deals, the actual label/contract, etc. Artists are making tons of money as it is. Again, I think this argument is very weak because it is only considering the very high-paying artists that have enough money from their, contract advances already, and not the actual independent artists that this is concerning. T-Pain then replied to some of this and said, I see a lot of, well, I guess I'll use the best one and not we gotta make our own. Keep in mind, most artists don't even got the whole $1. I'm just letting the up and coming know what the real is. I worked for mine, and there are tons of ways around this if you move right. So, as he said, most artists that are in contracts by record labels don't actually get the full $1, they make from that streaming, but also they do get advances and they do get a lot of other, opportunities to make money if they have the connections that a label has. So it's always like weighing options. It's always this debate between independent artists who are very dependent on the money that streaming is paying them and, artists signed to record labels who do have a lot of other options to make money. But yeah, I do think there needs to be some pressure on Spotify, on the big companies that are not paying enough, to keep these independent artists on their feet and paying their bills. But I don't think that this example or this guy that brought up the argument of a Drake song is really valid and solid, because that's really not where the problem is. I don't think Drake is complaining about Spotify not paying enough. I think it is really the independent artists needing to make money. But yeah, this is obviously a very open debate, a very heated debate. This has been talked about so much. So I would really like to have a discussion with you guys about this in the comments down below. This is only my opinion, of course. What do you think, an streaming outlet should pay? What do you think will be the right amount per stream? Do you think a cent per stream would be justified? Do you think it needs to be more in the likes of a Napster or like Apple Music? All that. Please discuss and let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and you'll take care.